Hello, today we are going to review the types of government. This is something that we learned about last week, but we are just going to go over all the different types of governments there are. And after this, you are going to be taking a very quick quiz matching the types of government with their definition. So let's get started. The first type of government is an autocracy. It is a government that is run by a single person that has unlimited power. This combination of despotism can also happen, which is domination through threat of punishment or violence. That can happen, which usually takes an autocracy and could turn it into something called a dictatorship. But what is important is autocracy is one person in charge of the government. A monarchy has a king, a queen, an emperor, or an empress. The ruling position can be passed on to the ruler's heirs. So you might have a king or a queen. If they die, it usually goes to their children. It continues within the family. In some traditional monarchies, the monarch also has absolute power. So when I say the monarch, that means either the king or queen or an emperor or an empress. They have absolute power. In constitutional monarchies, like in the UK or in England, they also have a democratic government that limits the monarch's control. So while in England they have a king and a queen, they also have a constitutional monarchy. So they have other people who are creating laws, and they have things like a prime minister to actually control the government, even though they have a king and queen as well. A dictatorship, a country that is ruled by a single leader. The leader has not been elected and may use force to keep control. In a military dictatorship, the army is in control. Okay, so in a dictatorship, it is ruled by one leader, which can also make it an autocracy. But what's important is that this leader has never been elected, and they usually use force to keep control. There's only really one or just a couple examples of a dictator being elected by the people, but they keep control by using violence and usually the military. Direct democracy. This is a type of democracy where every citizen has a vote. All citizens vote for all laws in their community, can only work with a small population. So direct democracy is something that happens in class a lot of times. If I need you guys to vote on something to make a decision, everybody has a single vote and we rule by the majority. But that can only happen with small groups of people. If you try to do it with millions and millions of people, they can't vote on every single issue that needs to be resolved. It always has to be with a small group of people. Representative democracy, this is the type of democracy that we have in the United States. This is a democracy where citizens have the right to vote. Citizens vote for representatives who vote on laws for the community, and it works well with a large population of people. So for us, we have to have this because we have millions of people. We have a single vote as citizens. We vote for one person to represent our interests. And those few people that are voted for, like in Congress, in the executive branch, like the president and vice president, those people are responsible for carrying out what we would like to see as citizens, because we can't vote on every single issue. It is a full-time job, so they do it themselves. An oligarchy is a government in which a few people, such as a dominant clan or clique, have power. So it is a little group of people that control everything. It's not just one person. A theocracy is a government that recognizes God or a divine being as the ultimate authority. Theocracy does not stand alone as a form of government. It is usually with another type. Okay, so that's important. They might recognize God or a divine being as the ultimate authority, but here on earth, they need to still have a couple people in charge or one person in charge. So sometimes a theocracy could be matched with a democratic government. Sometimes it could be with a monarchy. Sometimes it could be with a dictatorship. Anarchy is a situation where there is no government. This can happen after a civil war in a country where a government has been destroyed and rival groups are fighting to take its place. Anarchists are people who believe that government is a bad thing and that it stops people organizing their own lives. Okay, so anarchy is definitely something that has happened. But usually it is a limited time. You have one form of government. It gets overthrown in a country because the people don't like it. There's no government for a little while in the middle. And then you move on to a different type of government that the citizens decide to put in place. Okay, but you still have anarchists. These people believe that the government is a bad thing, that people are able to run their own lives. They don't need to have a type of government to do that. All right, that is your review.